We were just talking, me and God, a little bit about how a pole shift would work. The Earth spins on axis, tilted maybe 15-degree angle to the western side of the Earth. And some have predicted a pole shift where I guess everything, the Earth spinning stops for a bit and then shifts, tilting toward the right, to the right, the eastern side of the Earth. I guess it depends. Let's see here. I don't know. For some reason, the western side of the Earth, that half of the sphere, seems, I don't know, solid inside, and the eastern side, the eastern half of the Earth seems cavernous, more cavernous. So I think the theory is the polar ice caps melt. Actually, the Arctic, it melts, and then the water would fill, if it tilted this way, the underground cavernous spaces in the east side, the right half of the Earth. Now, I know there's been a lot of underground construction. The company Harry, my aka father, worked for does underground construction, and the Bin Laden family from Saudi Arabia, they do a lot of underground construction. To the best of my understanding, it was for breeding infants to end heaven, and also to be a place for them to hide at the end times. Also, there's been a lot of underground nuclear testing. I don't know when it stopped or if it has stopped, but we seem to be gearing up for more nuclear missiles and the Space Force and all that, nuclear missiles from space. It's like Reagan's Star Wars, is what I understand, where he tried to build a network of nukes in orbit around the Earth to protect the Earth from UFOs or something. That's what the statements were in Reagan's years, but I don't know if that's actually where the money went. Like, I remember hearing that we do a lot of underground nuclear testing in Nevada. I don't know where else we do underground nuclear testing. Or if they use nukes to blast within caverns of the Earth, to blast, spaces for breeding and then hiding. But it kind of makes sense that if the Earth is more cavernous on the eastern half, on the eastern side, not solid through and through the whole sphere, half of sphere, but cavernous, then theoretically, the tilt on the axis toward the east, with Arctic melting, somewhere there's going to be surface of the Earth axis to these caverns, and the water's going to seep in. Wait a minute. I think maybe the water seeping into the caverns is what causes the pole shift, because the shift of the weight of the Earth shifts to the east. And that is, if the eastern side is more cavernous, and as the polarized is the, well, I don't know anything about I don't know about the Antarctic. If that's, at the bottom of the Earth, the Arctic is at the top of the Earth, and the Antarctic is the bottom of the Earth. So I don't know how, like, ice melting in the Antarctic would affect everything, but if the Arctic ice melted, well, let's see. Right. I don't know. Maybe water seeping into caverns into the east half of the Earth is occurring with polar ice caps melting and it's shifting weight of the Earth from a western tilt this way. And if the western part of the Earth is more solid within the western half, then there would be melting and water theoretically running, down the western half. But if there are not cavernous holes, or not many, it wouldn't seep into the Earth. But what's going to melt from the Arctic toward the east, if it is more cavernous, it's going to fill in the caverns. And the Earth's pole, I read, and this is so many years ago, I'm so rusty about this, I read that the Earth stops for a second, stops spinning, and then tilts. So, that's what God wanted me to explain. And he didn't want any music in the background, so I wouldn't get a copyright claim. So I'm going to upload this, and I'm going to call it Pole Shift. And I just don't know how reliable the internet is right now, so I'm not sure what looking it up is going to bring. So, God just wanted me to get the idea out there. So I'm going to stop recording and upload this.